Hey there ladies, here's a look at our kind of slow combo that we did today. We were working on some hip circles and we were letting those turn us around. So remember with our hip circles, we've got to think about all four directions, to the side, to the front, to the other side and back. Well, when we get that hip circle going right around us, we were calling that an omi. And then we were using that to turn ourselves from one side to another. Depending on which direction we're going, kind of dictates which way our hips are going. We were doing that for a 6 count. So we would start straight forward and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then our 7, 8 to whichever side, we would have our leg that would be to the audience, our weight off of it, and we do a little shoulder roll. Now with that leg that has its weight off, that one's ready to start doing a traveling step. I'm gonna do this towards you, but remember we were doing it to the 2 diagonals, the right diagonal and the left diagonal. But whichever leg has just been up, we're gonna cross in front and step out and do a little bump with that hip that we're stepping out with. This one that just bumped is now gonna cross over, and then the other side steps out and bumps, cross over, step and bump, cross, step and bump. Now, just to make it a little bit higher level and pretty, we were accenting with those arms a little bit. So when I cross over, and then this one is the one that's gonna go out, I want to be kind of like I'm looking at that hip. So I'm looking down, not quite at it, a little bit in front of it. I've got my hand to my cheek, and then I would just extend the other one out. So as I'm moving, I'm changing arms. If you want to just leave arms down, that is perfectly fine too. So once we did our traveling step and we were kind of at a front corner, that's where we were doing some chest circles. And you can do them all the direction that's easiest for you if you'd like to. I was doing counterclockwise when I was when I was on the right corner, and I was doing clockwise on the left corner. It doesn't really matter. But what we were doing was 2 full chest circles, and then a little accent with a, kind of like a V. So out to a point, and I think we actually did that 3. So we did 2 circles, and then point, point, point. Or it's like the beat, beat, beat. And that last beat would be to kind of get ourselves ready for the next thing. So we left off that last beat of the 8 count. The next thing that we were doing was to back it on up to where we had started. And we were doing kind of a hip drop and kind of a rollback put together. So remember with our hip drops, we have one hip free, and we are able just to drop it down and reset it to neutral. Now, with the rollbacks, we drop down and we bring it up and around like it's an upside down U. So we want to actually roll it back, and as it's going back is where we pick up that foot. So our thing that we were doing with the drops and the rollback was that we would go drop a single, drop, drop a double, and then roll it back. And same thing on the other side. Single, double, roll it back. Single, double, roll it back. Single, double, roll back. And once we got back to where we started was where we did the omis to the other side. So let's look at what that looks like all together to the music. Now remember, this music's a little bit short, so we ran through it a couple of times, but on the last part of backing up, it kind of cut off where we would be getting all the way back. But it's just something to practice, to play around with.